This is the Carl Arrington Archive on jasoncharles.net. The Carl Arrington Archive is a collection of hundreds of hours of rare, in-depth interviews with the greatest musicians, performing artists, and writers, conducted over 4 decades by veteran journalist Carl Arrington.
I am rock and roll. Donna Summer is not. Aretha Franklin is not. Gladys Knight is not. I mean, I'm a legend in my own time, but to make a comeback, you got to get somebody behind you.
When we did Saturday Night Fever, we weren't really sure we had hits anyway. We didn't think any of these songs were disco. I mean, we didn't write disco. In Live turned out to be a disco record that really fooled me, because the rhythm is different than other disco records.
I think one of the most incredible achievements that I've had in my life is the fact that I played a part somewhat in the birthday holiday celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. That's very important to me.
I'm not a really material person. I never have been, and money was never a big deal to me. It isn't now.
I always used to like to make people laugh at school. I was the clown, you know. I mean, I'm a likeable lunatic.
It's not just a step to go rock. I just wanted to add a new dimension to my music in addition to what I've always done. I wanted to not have limitations on myself. I wanted to be able to cut records that could go in any direction and be just called Dolly Parton's music rather than pop or country or this and that.
I don't like all rock and roll, but I don't like all country either.
Yeah.
I don't like labels. I'm still, I think, doing what I did earlier in life. I haven't changed my music. Whatever I was doing, I'm still doing.
It is not, you know, a Barry Manilow production, writing, songwriting, arranging. I mean, what I'm saying is that I pushed my ego aside on this one.
Most of my music up to date, the personality of the singer's story is clear and forward. I like to hear a man laying out his particular situation. That's the kind of music I've always loved.
My music is highly eclectic, and I don't work on linear form. I mean, the lyrics that I write are generally cut-up method, a la William Burroughs.
I can only pray. I don't know how it happens. I wished I did know how it happens. I don't know if this is going to be a smash. I didn't know what's going on, what's going to be.
Touring is really quite easy compared to making records. You know, touring, you got an enormous amount of rehearsal before you go out, but then once you're up to concert pitch, it's just steady all the way out, and it's just a matter of survival.
I like to be as self-sufficient as possible. Otherwise, you start becoming too big a star. You know, like people just saying, "Mick, what do you want? What is it you want?" You know.
Nothing really that I haven't achieved in music, except possibly a Grammy and an Emmy and an Oscar. You know. I had those 2 or 3 things, but that would be very good. But then still, I wouldn't quit. You know?
As far as I'm concerned, I really love being a girl. I mean, especially because there's a lot more room to make it as a girl. There's been a lot of heavy men in the world, but there hasn't been many heavy girls.
But I think we all have a lot of respect and affection for the Grateful Dead. It's our main shot, you know. And that when we're doing it, really, that's what we're doing, you know. And we try to make it so that our schedule says, okay, this period of time is Grateful Dead time, and focus, you know.
I listened to a lot of blues records from the time I was about 14. I just, living in California, I was playing guitar, and I started to get into that style of guitar playing. And that's a whole American heritage, you know.
I guess blues would be my favorite music other than country. I guess being born in the Deep South, I didn't really realize that I had heard as much music other than country.
When I did my first video, there was this really, really mean guy, and he was the director of photography, and he kept screaming, "Keep your chin up," or "chin down," or something. And he was really rude. He didn't know who I was, or he didn't care who I was, and he didn't care that I was a person there uncomfortable with the situation, so that was very difficult.
I think that in terms of Thelma and Louise's bonding, that it's really necessary for me to share with her something that I've never told anybody. So we've added something that's dealt with in a very unsentimental way.
Like one time I went to Central Park on a ton of acid, and from across the park we see this tall black guy roller skating toward us. Roller skated by, he looked down at me and he's saying, "And don't tell me you're not Carrie Fisher!" And then he went away. Oh God.
The key to the Rocky film is that there's a lot of truth coming out of the fact that what I really feel about it is being translated through the character. And luckily, many people in the audience feel the same way about life and about fear and about love and about achieving the way Rocky does.
The problem in this country is guns and dope and booze. In that order, guns, dope, and booze.
I want to continue to have a childish sense of wonder, drawing a great deal of energy from the conflicts of my youth.
Movies change as you go, and you follow the life, and you need to be able to adjust a scene and to include something that's just happened, and to shift it a little bit to go around the corner here in a way that you hadn't anticipated.
I always say to Lauren, please, just give me a scene where there's a conveyor belt and a lot of pies come along. Just leave me alone there for a while. He says, it's been done, Gil. I know you can make it funny, blah, blah, blah. We haven't quite found the angle yet to do it, but if I'm here for a long enough time, I'll find a way, you know.
For more information about the series, go to the Carl Arrington Archive on the JasonCharles.net Podcast Network Audio Dramas channel. Follow us on Instagram at Carl Arrington Archive and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Carl Arrington. Thanks for listening.